All of us have heard of thumb pulling, aka pulling in the palate area to achieve forward growth. I debunked that method in my video. That raised the question, if thumb pulling does not work, then how do I fix my narrow palate and recessed maxilla? The fix for a narrow palate is simple, a good old expander. But fixing a recessed maxilla is more complicated. From my personal experience, I know that nose breathing and correct posture is not enough to fix a recessed maxilla. These things only stop the recession and could only affect the bone structure in children. The only fix is orthodontics and surgery. Orthodontic appliances such as a face mask and MSE with forward pull can pull the maxilla forward. Rapid maxillary expansion can also do this, but these work best in growing children, typically aged 6 to 10 years. There is an orthodontic appliance that actually causes forward growth. Here's a clip from Jawhack's video.
And I want you to notice something. The way that we are expanding the mandible with Dane actually increases the length of the mandible about 2 or 3 millimeters.
Do you think that the maxillary expander expands the maxilla forward 2 or 3 millimeters too, or not really?
Yes, Dr. Moon research showed that yes, when we expand, that maxilla can drop down and a little bit forward in some cases. Yes. Is it noticeable?
It's a beautiful result. Yeah, he went from looking like a boy to looking like a man.
The most known surgery is called Lefort 1. The surgeon cuts through the maxilla above the teeth, allowing it to be repositioned and secured with plates and screws. Lefort 2 moves the maxilla and nasal bones, and Lefort 3, which advances the entire midface, including the cheekbones and orbits. But how do you know which surgery you need and if you even need it? Jawhack's made a good video on this.
So you don't think that Lefort 1 is an inherently asymmetric procedure in that it's only looking at underdeveloped faces too low down, where it should look at underdeveloped faces more three-dimensionally? You don't agree with that?
Yeah, no, I know that through experience and with custom planning and designing the cuts appropriately, staying under, not having to go into the orbit itself, you're going to get 90-95% of people and make a very aesthetic face. But if it's cut low and you're not going high on the zygomatic arch, you're not making appropriate movements, and you're not decompensating the teeth or widening the arches appropriately, then it's not going to look appropriate. 2 and 3, I think the 2 and 3 are good for true craniosynostosis, craniofacial deformities. But otherwise, a high Lefort cut where you come higher and you can modify these things, so doesn't have to go to the orbit through the orbital rim exactly, but can go close to it and make a set. You can get a really good aesthetic result without having that imbalance, because at the end of the day, it's all about harmony.
Basically, what he said was that for most people, a high Lefort 1 which doesn't affect the orbits is best. And of course, he recommends consulting with an orthodontist and custom planning everything. Now, what are the dangers of this surgery? Permanent nerve damage happens in less than 1 to 5% cases of Lefort 1. Getting the orbitals cut would make the risk of nerve damage way higher. But you can also get surgery to fix the nerve damage.